Alright fellas, here we are back at Pokemon Masters, and I hope y'all have been enjoying the Neo Champion Sharon showcase, my friends. Alright, yeah, go watch that if you haven't. Like, subscribe, what the hell ever. But we're gonna be looking here at Neo Champion Bianca and Verizion today. The more that I think about it, the more I don't find myself actively liking these sync pairs, but the more I do find myself really appreciating that they gave these characters Neo Champion outfits and popularity, I guess. Powerful sync pairs, right? So, not exactly that I'm big on these characters still. I do like them. Just not massive on them. But I am extremely happy for their fans, because I do like that they're doing this. Anyway, so, Bianca and Verizion. If I were to put it into a word, or a phrase, rather, I would say that this is, like, the best striker for the Legendary Gauntlet in the game. Bar none, I think. She's crazy. She's pretty damn crazy for that game mode, and even outside of it, she has the potential to look absolutely absurd. Like, really is no contest there. So I guess we'll go into her kit first, and then obviously I can explain why later. So she's a physical striker with the support EX role. She drops June 2nd and leaves July 10th. A lot of good time to pull for her. I'm not going to be doing summons. I'm going to be doing daily discounts, though. May summon for her if I, have the gems or, whatever, right? Things happen. If I have the right criteria met, I might summon for her at the end of her banner. Anyway, so she's a fighting sync pair, weak to flying, of course. Looking at her stats, she's got 482 attack, 458 special attack, 154 special defense, 132 defense, 689 health, 308 speed, with 6-star EX and level 140. She's got over 500 attack, 194 special defense, 172 defense, 789 health, 348 speed. These are very respectable stats, about average defenses for a striker, I would say. Very good offenses, over 500, very good speed as well. With level 150 and the support EX roll, it goes even higher. This is where her gauntlet abilities start, I guess. Her defenses go up by quite a bit from the support EX roll, and mostly her HP as well. Like, nearly 900 HP with 220-ish defenses is not, like, fantastic, but it's definitely a great starting point for looking at a character's not tanking ability, rather, but, like, their ability to, I guess, take a hit. Not putting them in the fucking support slot, but obviously letting them, be able to take actual damage without fucking folding like paper, like Archie or Maxie. And I do think that's pretty respectable. And of course, support EX roll in itself is already really good. Looking at her move, she's got Sacred Sword, a 3-gauge move, 90 base power, ignores target's raised stats. Not that she really cares, honestly, because of most of her abilities, but whatever. She's got Unova Solidarity, 2 uses to gauge, which increases physical and special moves next of all allies by 1 stat rank, and applies the defensive Unova Circle to the ally field of play, which has a maximum damage reduction and power up of 20% 20% power up and 25% damage reduction. So she's going to be, of course, helping out the team. She's going to be able to buff her own damage alongside her allies' damage, and also be able to apply good team damage reduction. Combined with her master passive of Unova Flag Bearer, you've got effectively, double the rewards for the most part, right? Which is not exactly double, but, for the most part. It's definitely very good. 100%. Yeah. And she's got her trainer move, First Step to Glory, 1 use, which reduces sync countdown by 1, raises attack by 4, and crit by 3. Of course, great self-sufficiency, little bit of ramping there, right? Combined with other great fighting, ramping sync pairs like Aura Cynthia, Neo Champion Rosa, she's psychic, but you know what I mean. Riley, Ray, Neo Champion Hop, I don't know if I mentioned Ray, whatever, either way. So, those big 4 there, right? She can work in very good conjunction with, because of that -1 sync countdown, which is nice for sure. And then her buddy move, White Light Sacred Sword, which is a 3-gauge move, 1 use, 200 power, hits 1 enemy. Activation condition is when the Unova Circle is applied to the ally field of play. Deactivation condition is when it is no longer applied. The move never misses, it ignores target's raised stats, lowers both offenses by 3 stat ranks, and lowers the target's fighting rebuff by 2. This is going to make her a pretty big addition to the fighting type team. Alongside Neo Champion Rosa, you've got yourself, not double Master Passive, but you get yourself the addition of the Master Passive, right? And of course the Unova Circle as well. So having Rosa as your support is going to be good for that. Rosa's also applying that extra 1 rebuff, so you do get that extra 10% damage for having the max -3 fighting rebuff on that one specific enemy. And of course you can slot in your 3rd character, be it Ray, Riley, Neo Champion Hop. I wouldn't recommend Aura Cynthia, double support. But pretty much any other fighting character you can throw in there, they're going to be getting an immense buff from it. most optimally probably Neo Champion Hop, for sure, if you want to try and maximize a fighting team. For sure. Oh god, I'm gonna throw up. Okay. So, already pretty good in the moves department as well. Looking at her moves, not moves, passive skills, she's got the Will to Protect, which applies the defensive circle to the ally field of play on entry, and it powers up the moves and sync moves of all allied sync pairs when the circle is in effect, and applies free moves next when her attack move is successful while the defensive circle is applied to the allied field of play. So she's got supportive ability on top of infinite gauge, basically. Again, this is adding to more abilities on why she's going to be good in the gauntlet and also just good in general. She's got good supportive ability as a striker who can do actual damage and also is able to apply, again, defensive abilities with the defensive circle and the master passive as well, lowering enemy offenses too. She's going to be able to directly enhance allies on top of directly helping out team defensive capability, which is definitely amazing. She's got her Assistance Observation passive, which raises speed and evasion of all allies by 1 when the attack move is successful. Any stage that doesn't have Piercing Gaze, which is like fucking all of the ultimate battles, but anything outside of that, you're going to be noticing those evasion buffs. Again, Legendary Gauntlet. I'm not like fucking, what is this called? It's the type of bias where, like, if you're expecting to see it, you'll see it. I forget what the hell it's called. By the way, it's not that. You can't really make this stuff up. Evasion's almost only useful in the Legendary Gauntlet, so the fact that you're able to make utilization of it from a new striker, and they're using that as one of her new abilities is pretty funny, to say the least. And, of course, team engage management as well. In a solo situation, she's got infinite free moves next effectively, so the speed buffs don't matter as much to her, but obviously in a longer form battle, whether it be a longer Legendary Arena fight or like an ultimate battle or whatever, those speed buffs are going to be extremely helpful, of course, for managing team gauge. So that's definitely very nice too. And then she's got Piercing Blows. Again, like like this isn't observation bias or whatever. She's got fucking Piercing Blows, man. She's ignoring every gimmick of any Legendary Arena. She's ignoring the gimmicks of any like ultimate battle or, well, like, minus ones that, you know, triple their defenses at base, you know, like Sentry Entry or defense and special defense ×3 or whatever the passes are called and all that stuff. Like, she's pretty much able to handle any other gimmick, like Acute Senses, Healthy Advantage, Fluid Fortification, all that stuff. She's able to just, you know, hit right through it and do a bunch of damage. So that's already, honestly, pretty solid for a 1 out of 5 kit. Like, she's going to be great at enhancing other fighting type characters with the rebuff and the circle and the master passive, but she's also going to be good in general because of her amazing gauntlet abilities and because, again, she's able to apply it not only with the 2 uses of the circle, but she's also able to apply it on entry, which is going to be giving you effectively some initial team damage reduction and initial team power-ups, right? So you don't have to worry too much about, you know, those type of fights that start off hitting really hard. Like, they open up with one big strong move, right? Like maybe Annabelle's Eruption or not Thornton, Durock's like Quick Attack or whatever. You know, it's going to be really helpful for helping out with team survivability, especially in conjunction with an amazing defensive support like Signature Aura Cynthia, who, you know, buffs defenses, has great defensive stats overall, and is just a great defensive support in general, right? She's going to be extremely good on top of that, and of course she also benefits under, you know, Aura Cynthia's fighting zone. So if you're finding yourself, like, even without a massively helpful fighting roster for Bianca's a great start to your fighting roster. She's going to be one that is going to be extremely enhanced under a lot of other fighting characters, but also is going to be one that is enhancing other fighting characters. That rebuff and the master passive in the circle are mostly proof of that, for sure. And again, in the Legendary Gauntlet, Piercing Blows, evasion buffs, circle for damage reduction and power-ups, infinite free moves next while under circle. Not really much else that needs to be said. So that's great for Bianca at 1 out of 5. Her grid doesn't really have much. Headstrong, Gauge Refresh, and Sacred Sword, whatever. 2 out of 5, she gets Quick Cure, Furious Brawn, Ridicure 3, Circle HP Recovery, Evasive Sync Up, Circle Gauge Up, not really that impactful. Train Move NPR, Natural Remedy. Quick Cure, Natural Remedy, you know, getting rid of those one-time burns, confusions, poisons, flinches, traps, whatever. Very, very, you know, solid for those type of abilities. You're trying to deal with that stuff, like Crystalia's Toxic, or Thunderwave, or, you know, Tornadus' random confusions, or burns, that type of crap. And also ultimate battles, like fucking Durock's random burns with Heat Wave and all that stuff. Furious Brawn, a 30% multiplier to her Sacred Sword and White Light Sacred Sword damage. Obviously, you know, White Light Sacred Sword is going to be only a 1-use move. And I would say that the weakest point of Bianca is probably going to be her actual damage per second, or damage per turn, rather, because Sacred Sword is not the most powerful move. But That could also come to, not really matter that much if the multiplier for, what is it? I think it's this, yeah. Powers up moves of all allies and whatnot when circles apply to the field of play. It might not matter because she does, of course, have the circle plus the flag bearer master passive, which is going to be directly powerful to her. So maybe her damage is actually not going to be too bad. Could be, could not be. I don't know. And also that rebuff's definitely carrying a lot of weight too. She's got Ready Cure 3, 40% chance to restore 20% HP when dodging an attack. Pretty solid in the gauntlet if you are going for like a budget setup. Like if you're going for 2 out of 5, then this is, if you're not going to go for like 3 out of 5 or whatever, then might be good for that. If you're going to try duos or something, then having Ready Cure could be very good for maintaining health. Same thing with Circle HP recovery, whatever. 30% damage multiplier here with evasive sync up. Very easy to activate. Free 30% sync nuke multiplier. Honestly, I would say that even I wouldn't say this is really impactful in any ultimate battle, stadium battle, whatever. I'd say this is mostly impactful in the gauntlet, which I don't even know if it is there. So someone can verify that for me there. And then training with NPR could be good if you want that -1 sync countdown or if you want to max her attack, whether that be impactful or not to a battle. It's just going to depend upon the battle. Depends what your setup is, what you may need. Training with NPR could be good for maxing offenses and give you that -1 sync countdown again. I'm not too sure. I feel like 2 out of 5 is definitely not bad. Getting a 30% multiplier with maxed attack, getting yourself some healing abilities for the gauntlet, and this 30% sync nuke multiplier could be pretty helpful, honestly. And then 3 out of 5, she gets Staggering 4, Defense Destroyer 9, Circle Sync moves up 9, Circle Hit, Physical moves up next 9, Trainer Sync Redemption, Trainer move Berserker, Circle Hit, Attack and Special Attack down, and Circle Extension. Yeah, pretty much all of those abilities are good. The only things that I would pretty much just not touch is probably Trainer Sync Redemption and Trainer Move Berserker too, honestly. Because any battle that you're going to need... Good lord. Trainer Move... this NPR here, this Trainer Sync Redemption, does not apply to her buddy move. If it did, whole different tune. That would be pretty damn strong. But it does not apply to her buddy move. It says it restores to the trainer first time sync move is used, meaning it'll give you MP back on her buddy move. Not buddy move. I just established that it wouldn't do that. Can I use my fucking brain? Probably not. To her trainer move and her circle. Those are the biggest reasons why she has this, for the circle for the most part. But generally, at least in theory, the circle extension is going to be enough for the most part in order to have you pretty much make it through any battle for the most part. You're going to get that extension, which means that your entry circle is going to be extended, and then of course your 2 uses of circle here are going to be extended. And if you need more than 3 uses of circle, then you're in a long-ass battle, man. I mean, maybe at that point, Trainer Sync Redemption could be helpful, but also at that point, you're going to have to sacrifice a whole lot of grid energy just to get to that. You're going to have to sacrifice, 14 energy just to get the Trainer Sync Redemption, which in itself costs 10 energy. You're spending nearly half of Bianca's energy just to get 1 more use of Unit of Solidarity. It's a little iffy, right? Just being honest. Circle Hit, Attack, and Special Attack down 9. This does, of course, mean you can maximize enemy debuffs for your offenses, which means, of course, she's going to be taking extra less damage. Combine that with, Circle, Master Passive, whatever, and her evasion buffs. She's going to be either good at not taking damage at all, or she's going to be good at mitigating damage entirely. It's very good. So getting that extra attack and special attack debuffs on top of the -3 from the buddy move is going to be extremely helpful. Again, mostly gauntlet setting, but also could be very good for a lot of ultimate battles, right? Those that hit hard naturally, like Thornton or fucking Annabelle. Annabelle wants those debuffs. This could be really good for that, too. And then, of course, again, circle extension, right? As stated, circle extension, really good. You're going to probably need that for pretty much any ultimate battle because of just how long circles, fail to last. Keeping that infinite gauge refresh, keeping, the circle HP recovery if you pick that up, whatever else, circle extension is going to be good for that. And also, this is going to be good in any general longer form content, again, like ultimate battles and whatnot. And also, when I'm mentioning, I'm pretty much just exclusively mentioning ultimate battles and the legendary gauntlet here, but obviously this is going to apply to like the battle rally or champion stadium or whatever battle content you're trying to fight for the most part. She's going to be good in that. I mean, it's just that these are the highest end forms of content or the content that people matter the most about. So obviously mentioning those is going to matter the most because if you can compete in those game modes, you can very easily compete in things like the rally or the champion stadium. So I just want to keep that. I just wanted to mention that. She gets circle. Universe Circle Sync moves up 9. When the circle is active, she gets a 90% Sync Nuke multiplier. Combine that with a 30% multiplier from Evasive Sync Up. and I believe this passive here, then you're going to be getting a pretty decent nuke out of Bianca. I don't think it's going to be absurd or anything, especially because this is likely only a 20% multiplier, maybe 30% at best, but like, even then, that's about what, 150% total multipliers, Crit Strike 2, 170% total multipliers. Definitely not a bad strike nuke, not fantastic. It's about average. Well, average for a higher end character. Let me specify. It's not like mid. It's still quite good, you know, but it's not exactly a highlight of any, you know, modern striker for the most part. At least I don't think so. But it is still good, of course. You know, empowering her nuke going to be great for any game mode that you're going to be nuking with her, which you are probably going to want to for the support EX role anyway. And her nuke is extremely easy to activate, meaning you're going to have it activated fully by the time you get to your first sync move, when you are going to want to use her support EX. Or, of course, again, you can combine her with someone like Aura Cynthia or Neo Champion Rosa, use them for the support EX role plus sprint EX role, save up for Bianca's nuke, get a pretty solid strike nuke out of that, and then also get the support EX from that too. And then you'll be working with 4 sync buffs and already have a very high-powered strike nuke that has already, you know, hit the enemy, done a lot of damage, whatever. Circle hit physical moves up next 1. This will give you +1 physical moves next, which is going to be good for increasing Sacred Sword damage. Not certain how good or how recommended this node is to pick up, but I mean, if you are trying to empower Sacred Sword as much as possible, I would say this is almost a necessity, because again, it's a more low power based move, right? Like, I don't think it's horrible though. We could look at Adaman or someone for a relatively similar type of move, I guess, because, you know, Leaf Blade is about similarly low powered. Adaman's got, you know, the same offensive stat. He's got a slightly better master passive, well, relatively better master passive. He gets a 50% power buff from his innate passive here, and for the most part, I think that's it. So, hey, if you want something that can be equated to about the same, probably look at Adaman's Leaf Blade for the most part. Bianca does have a higher base offensive stat, 548 attack, compared to Adaman's, 512, right? So, despite the fact that Adaman's got a slightly better master passive, and of course the 50% multiplier innate instead of Bianca's 20%, if you are going to at least pick up like Furious Brawn or whatever, then you are probably going to be getting about similar damage as Adaman's Leaf Blade, which I don't know if it's good or not. I can't really remember off the top of my head. I just did Thorin's Ultimate Battle, but I can't really remember what Adaman's Leaf Blades were doing. Either way, if you want a comparable damage indicator, I would say Adaman's probably about correct. And that doesn't account for like enhancement from Fighting Zone or physical moves up next, or the -3 rebuff, right? Where Adaman's got generally -2 rebuff. You're probably going to have 3 with Bianca because of having Neo Champion Rose as a partner for the most part. So you're going to be getting very good Sacred Sword enhancement from that. So despite the fact that Sacred Sword does look like a pretty weak move, it actually has a ton of enhancement from the grid as well as the amazing partners that Bianca is going to be put with most usually. She's also got Defense Destroyer 9 for -2 on the defensive debuffs. Very good for, again, enhancing her damage even further. Making Sacred Sword look better, making her nuke look better, whatever. Probably good for the gauntlet, depending on what stage you're trying to fight, like Latios or something. Combine that with the offensive debuffs, and you're probably going to be cooking in that specific stage there. Not that Latios obviously needs it, because you're fluid fortification doesn't matter because she does have piercing blows, but any stage that you're really just going to want to have to try and deal as much damage as fast as possible, then Bianca is going to be good for that, obviously. I would say that the attack and special attack down is probably going to be good for Terrakion just because of how hard it hits in innate. And then staggering 4. I mean, yeah, you're probably going to want to pick this up for the gauntlet, right? 50% chance to flinch, combine that with Circle HP recovery. You're going to have quite a few turns to be able to spam Sacred Swords for that HP recovery and then flinch the opponent as well. That's where Bianca's longevity in the gauntlet comes from. You're going to be able to get that HP recovery from Circle or Ridicure if you manage to pick it up, and then flinches to make it so the enemy can't move. You get more passive recovery. They take more damage. All of that good stuff. That's probably the single biggest defining factor for this character, is having that staggering 4 on top of having the free moves next infinitely from having the Universe Circle activated. So overall, very strong character in pretty much any top tier content, I would say. I definitely would say as such. Like, she's going to be dominating pretty much any legendary gauntlet. Talked with Naomi, I believe that she at least in theory, has the ability to solo every single legendary gauntlet in the game, I believe, or legendary arena, whatever. I think. I'd have to verify that again, but don't hold me to that. And obviously in the Ultimate Battle, she's going to be good. She's going to be enhancing directly partners like Neo Champion Rosa, Ray, and Neo Champion Hop, all of which are very, very good characters. Palmer's Ultimate Battle is going to get fucking obliterated. Argenta's probably not going to appreciate Bianca too much either, with the rebuffs, and also with her just having piercing blows to hit through all of Argenta's gimmicks and whatnot. Thornton's probably not going to like her too much either, though you probably are going to pair her up with someone like maybe Special Costume Diantha? I don't know. To clear, his first, 60% HP or whatever it is, to get rid of those defensive swaps, all that type of stuff. Either way, I think she's going to be very good for pretty much any top tier content, I would say, for the most part. As for a grid to build, I'm not 100% sure. I would say something, I would say the circle extension is almost always going to be a requirement no matter what you're doing. Probably something like this, maybe. Probably could go for Furious Brawn if you wanted to. I don't know, not 100. I'm really not 100% certain here. Either sacrifice the Defense Destroyer for the Furious Brawn, or sacrifice the Furious Brawn for the Defense Destroyer. That's what I would recommend doing. Depends on if you're going to bring a defense debuff for like Ray or Neo Champion Hop or not. Oh, Lord. If you're going to bring a defensive debuffer, then probably pick up Furious Brawn and try and maximize Sacred Sword damage. Maybe pick up the Circle Hit. Physical moves up next, I'm not too sure. But that's probably what I recommend if you're going to be picking up like a full nuke setup, or like any faster battle like Stadium, or any top tier difficult content like fucking ultimate battles and whatnot, something like that. As for the gauntlet, I don't quite remember. I saw the grid, but I don't quite remember what it looked like. Circle HP recovery is good. Staggering hit, or staggering is going to be what you're wanting as well. I guess something like this. I don't know. Honestly, this isn't my game mode, so don't take this as anything too. Don't take this to heart, obviously. Go listen to those guys. They know what they're doing, more than me anyway. But something like this, I'd say, is at the minimum what you're going to be wanting. Also, the attack and special attack debuffs are probably going to be really good, really impactful. So something like this is probably going to be your best thing for a Legendary Gauntlet battle. But again, probably go ask the people. It'll probably vary from Ultimate Battle, not Ultimate Battle, the arena to arena. And also, obviously, the same thing for like Ultimate Battles and whatnot. But yeah, that's my thoughts about Neo Champion Bianca and Virizion. An amazing sync pair. Again, doing dailies, I do recommend pulling for them if you are wanting to directly enhance your fighting type team and make it one of your best teams. Mine's already really good, even without Neo Champion Hop, but I'm still really considering pulling this, because that combo of Neo Champion Rosa, Neo Champion Bianca, and Ray, oh, baby, I just might do it, so, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you're going to be going for Bianca down in the comments below. I do believe she's also the best sync pair of the month, just being honest. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you all later. Hope you all enjoyed. Good luck on your summons. Peace out.